Rome wasn't an empire built on courage. It was built on debt. We often imagine the Roman legions as honorable, disciplined, unstoppable soldiers. But what if the truth was different? Behind all those shining helmets and sharp swords, there was a massive system at work. Legions, roads, horses, siege machines, all of it required money. So how did mighty Rome finance such enormous costs of war? And why do these stories still matter today? Because when you dig deeper, you realize that war wasn't only fought on the battlefield. It was embedded in Rome's economy. And once that machine started turning, there was no way to stop it. Growth was no longer a choice, it was a necessity. In the early Republic, all soldiers came from the people. If you owned land, you were drafted, brought your own weapons, fought, and then returned home. But as Rome expanded, things changed. Wars dragged on and expenses grew. The era of fight for a few years and return was over. Rome needed a permanent army. That's when the state stepped in. At first they paid soldiers to secure their loyalty. Then came the Great Transformation. Conquests began to equal money. New lands meant new taxes, new wealth, new revenue. Rome created a cycle. Finance one war with the spoils of the last. But the real twist? Rome didn't just run on taxes, it ran on debt. During the long Punic Wars against Carthage, the state borrowed enormous sums from its wealthy citizens. And who were these lenders? The equities, Rome's rising financial class. These weren't donations, they were investments. The equities demanded interest, new tax rights, and trade privileges in conquered territories. War was no longer a duty, it became a business model. And the more profitable it was, the more wars were fought. Sound familiar? Over time, the economy began to depend entirely on military plunder. Senators turned into shareholders of wars. Private contractors, called publicani, ran taxation and logistics, lining their pockets in the process. It was the birth of military capitalism. But the cost was enormous. The treasury was drained, paying soldiers, paying interest to the elite. When the money ran out, Rome resorted to the oldest trick in the book, debasement. Under Emperor Nero, the silver content in coins was reduced. The same coins, but worth less. Later emperors did the same. The result? Inflation, loss of trust, and the collapse of Rome's currency. And the rich? They got richer. They moved their wealth into land, slaves, and foreign assets. The poor couldn't even pay taxes with their worthless coins. Public services collapsed. Corruption spread. The burden of war fell squarely on the people's shoulders. This wasn't just a military collapse, it was an economic one. Now, look around you. Even today, the same story plays out in different forms. Nations survive on debts they can never repay. Wars are still financed with borrowed money. Central banks quietly print cash. The rich keep getting richer, and the poor calculate the cost of their next loaf of bread. Just like Rome, the system keeps spinning. Debts are unpayable. Money printing is no longer a crisis, it's routine. And those in charge keep pretending everything is fine. Remember this. History repeats itself. Rome didn't fall to its enemies. It fell because the numbers didn't add up. When the system breaks, the state turns on its own people. More taxes, worthless money, and tighter control. Rome's bread and circuses became today's stimulus packages. The names changed. The system didn't. Money and power still walk hand in hand. Wars are still profitable. Inflation still crushes the poor. And the illusion still works. So what can you do? Step back. Look at the bigger picture. Because most people see, but never truly understand. They think inflation is random, taxes are necessary, and debt equals freedom. But as the Stoics would say, that's self-deception. You can't completely escape the system, but you can understand it. You're no longer blind. You can strengthen yourself, in mind and in wealth. Learn the history of money. Don't just learn how to invest. Learn how the system operates. And ask yourself, who profits when I don't understand? Because you were never meant to know this. They wanted you distracted by headlines, pop culture, and TV shows. But now you see. And once your eyes are open, there's no going back. Financial literacy isn't about understanding money. It's about understanding power. It's about tearing down that fake curtain of stability. Because as I said before, history always repeats itself. Empires don't fall because of enemies. They fall because of greed.